This is Chris Shada. Thanks for checking this out, tuning in, spending a little time here. So let's say you guys are committed to Microsoft. You're using this stuff. You've heard about Teams. You're using Teams a little bit. There's something called Yammer. There's something called SharePoint. There's something called Planner. And you're now at home working, trying to make sense of what to do where. We've been on this journey for quite a while, and we've got settled thoughts for ourselves, and those might be helpful to you. So a couple touchstone things. Teams versus Yammer. They're both chat or message or post-based things. At RealFoundations, we use both of them extensively. They're tightly coupled together, but they have distinct purposes. Yammer is the place that we go to either learn or contribute knowledge about topics of enduring interest to our firm. So there are things happening, a whole build to rent movement. It's a new thing in real estate. A single family rental is a new thing. Changes in REIT legislation in various countries in Europe. So those are topics of enduring interest. And we do that in Yammer. And so as a practitioner, if I want to learn something or I have something to contribute, I'm going to go to Yammer. We think of that like a sort of combined digital library and digital water cooler. Generally, all those discussion groups are open to everybody. We expect people to contribute and people to learn and people who've contributed to learn about other things and vice versa. Teams is also chat-based, but is tuned to support shared work by a defined group of people towards a defined task over time. So we've got, in our case, we do projects all the time, so those are easy. You got a team for a project. But we also have teams for communities of interest inside RF. We have an executive committee that meets every week and makes decisions about the future of the firm, and that meets every week, and all the stuff related to those meetings and those conversations, the things that are spun out of those happen there. We have our presence and asset support group, and so they've got a team that they use to talk to each other and manage and measure the work that they're doing. So we've got hundreds of those teams spun up, and each one of them has a defined group of people working together towards defined goals. So the physical analogy for us is that's like our old project team or war rooms. Those are like the conference room we were given, and we've got stuff stuck on all the walls, and we've got stickies up there, and we've got piles of paper, and we've got printers, and we've got people coming in and out of that room, and some people are working there all day long. Some people come in and perch on a corner to participate in a particular discussion. That's what Teams is for us. And Outlook hasn't gone away. We still use Outlook, but we use it for a very specific purpose. What email was originally designed to do, which was to create an electronic version of mail. And what was mail? When I wrote an actual letter to an actual person and put it in an actual envelope, and then it got delivered to that person, right? And you think of all the stuff that we do in that project team room, which isn't mail, but we've been using email for a long time to do a bunch of that stuff. So we still have Outlook. We still send and receive messages when we're sending messages to people who aren't in a project or client team, haven't already been brought into doing that messaging inside Teams. So there's a whole bunch of external messaging that still occurs in now the right-sized version of Outlook. And there's SharePoint. The SharePoint's been around a long time. Microsoft has made a bunch of decisions to keep that branded name, even as it's dramatically shifted what SharePoint is. For us, SharePoint is primarily the file service that sits under everything. So when I'm in Teams and I go to the Files tab and look at files, I'm looking at files that are actually sitting in, controlled by, protected by SharePoint. When I'm in OneDrive, dealing with some personal stuff that I used to have in my laptop, but now is all in the cloud, all those things are actually really sitting in SharePoint. When we store Outlook attachments, those things are now all stored in SharePoint. So SharePoint's now a service that sits underneath everything, that is a consistent way for all of our files and documents to be protected, controlled, stored throughout our enterprise. And then there are some other pieces like Planner that is a simple Kaizen kind of Basecamp, Microsoft offering of simple kind of sticky, the metaphor of stickies, little task you're moving around your bulletin board that we use. And of course, Word and Excel and PowerPoint. And those are all now embedded quite deftly in Teams. So you store something in Teams at, say, an Excel file, and you can get at it through without ever leaving Teams. You can also choose to get at that same file using the full desktop app or using a browser app. I was yesterday in a spreadsheet that we had people on 3 different continents all updating at the same time, and I could see everybody move around in them because it was all in a single object underneath that. So in our world, the center of everything is Teams. That's where we do all our video calling from. That's where we do all our telephony. That's where we do all our intra-company messaging. That's where we do all of our project and initiative and work group, work management, messaging, document management inside Teams. Yammer is a trusted place that you can go and get current news, information, learning about topics that matter to us and to our industry. Outlook is still smaller, but still quite vital way of communicating with the outside world with formal messages. And then SharePoint sits underneath everything and is a coherent way for us to control and manage all of our documents. We've been on this journey for quite a number of years now. We're excited by all the things that Microsoft is shipping on a monthly basis, no longer a 3-year new version basis, and are excited about a bunch of things that are coming that continue to connect together these different parts into a more integrated whole. Thanks for tuning in.